Huh? Who calls?
Bid every noise be still.
Who is it in the press that calls on me?
Beware the eyed man.
What man is that?
Come from the throng. Look upon Caesar.
What wouldst thou say to me now? Speak once again.
Beware the eyed march.
She is a dreamer. Let us leave her. Pass. Let her pass. What's that about?
Brutus, I do observe you now of late. I've not from your eyes that gentleness and show of love as I was wont to have.
Cassius, be not deceived. If I veiled my looks, I turn the trouble of my countenance merely upon myself.
Tell me, good Brutus, can you see your face?
No, Cassius, the eye sees not itself, but by reflection, by some other things.
'Tis just, and it is very much lamented, Brutus, that you have no such mirrors of return in your hidden worthiness into your eye that you might see your shadow. I have heard, where many the best respect in Rome, except immortal Caesar, when speaking of Brutus and groaning underneath this age's yoke, had wished that noble Brutus had his eyes.
Into what dangers would you lead me, Cassius? That you would have me seek into myself for that which is not in me? Yeah! What means this shouting? I do fear the people choose Caesar for their king.
Aye, do you fear it? Then must I think you would not have it so?
I would not, yet I love him well. But wherefore do you hold me here so long? What is it that you would impart to me? If it be all towards the general good, set honour in one eye and death in the other, and I will look on both indifferently. For let the gods so speed me as I love the name of honour more than I fear death.
Well, honour is a subject of my story. I was born as free as Caesar. So were you. We both fed as well and both endured the cold as well as he.
Another general shout. I do believe that these applauses are for some new honours heaped on Caesar.
Why, man, he doth bestride this narrow world like a colossus. We petty men walk under his huge legs to find ourselves dishonourable graves. Now, in the name of all my gods at once, upon what meat doth this our Caesar feed that made him so great? Age, thou art shamed. You and I have heard a father say there was a Brutus once who would have brooked the eternal devil to keep his state in Rome as easily as a king.
What you have said I will consider. What you have to say I will, with patience here, and find a time both meet to hear and answer such high things. The games are done and Caesar is returning.
As they pass by, pluck Casca by the sleeve, and he will, after his sour fashion, tell you what hath preceded worthy note today.
Antonius.
Caesar.
Let me have men about me that are fat, sleek-headed men, and such as sleep o' nights. Yon Cassius has a lean and hungry look. He thinks too much. Such men are dangerous.
Fear him not, Caesar. He's not dangerous. He's a noble Roman, and well given.
Would he were fatter. Men such as he be never at heart's ease, whilst they behold a greater than themselves. Therefore are they very dangerous. Come on my right hand, for this ear is deaf, and tell me truly what thou thinkst of him.
You pulled me by the cloak. Would you speak with me?
Aye, Casca. Tell us what hath chanced today that Caesar looked so sad.
Why, you were with him, were you not?
I should not then have asked Casca what has chanced.
Why, a crown was offered him. And being offered him, he put it by with the back of his hand, thus. And then the people fell a-shouting.
What was the second noise for?
Why, for that too.
But they shouted thrice. What was the last cry for?
Why, for that too.
Oh, was the crown offered him thrice?
Aye, marry wast. And he put it by thrice, every time gentler than the other. And at each putting by, mine honest neighbours shouted.
Who offered him the crown?
Why, Antony.
Tell us the manner of a gentle Casca.
Can as well be hanged as tell the manner of it. It was mere foolishness. I did not mark it. I saw Mark Antony offer him a crown. 'Twas not a crown neither, 'twas one of these coronets. And, as I told you, he put it by once. But for all that, to my thinking, he would fain have had it. Then he offered it to him again. Then he put it by again. But to my thinking, he was very loath to lay his fingers off it. And then he offered it to him a third time. And he put it by a third time. And still, as he refused it, the rebblemen hooted, they clapped their chapped hands, they threw up their sweaty nightcaps, and they uttered such a deal of stinking breath because Caesar refused the crown that it almost choked Caesar, for he swooned and fell back at it. As for mine own part, I durst not laugh, for fear of opening my lips and receiving the bad ear.
But soft, I say, did Caesar swoon?
He fell down in the marketplace, he foamed at the mouth, and he was speechless.
'Tis very like he hath the falling sickness.
No, Caesar hath not the falling sickness, but you and I and honest Casca, we have the falling sickness.
I know not what you mean by that, but I am sure Caesar fell down.
What said he when he came unto himself?
He said that if he had done or said anything amiss, he desired their worships to think it was his infirmity.
And after that he came thus sad away.
Aye.
Will you sup with me tonight, Casca?
No, I am promised forth.
Will you dine with me tomorrow?
Aye. If I be alive and your mind hold in your dinner worth the eating.
Good, I will expect you.
Do so. Farewell both.
What a blunt fellow is this grown to be. He was quick-mettled when he went to school.
So now he is an execution of any bold or noble.
For this time I will leave you. Tomorrow, if you please to speak with me, I will come home to you. Or if you will, come home to me, and I will wait for you.
Do so. Until then, think of the world. Well, Brutus, thou art noble. Yet I see thy honourable metal may be wrought from that it is disposed. I will this night at his windows throw, as if they came from several citizens, letters, all tending to the great opinion that Rome holds of his name, wherein obscurely Caesar's ambition shall be glanced at. I've moved already some of the noblest minded Romans to undergo with me an enterprise of honourable dangerous consequence, and I do know by this they stand for me in Pompey's porch. After this, let Caesar seat him sure, for we will shake him, or worse days endure.
It must be by his death. And for my part, I know no personal cause to spurn at him. But for the general, he would be crowned. How that might change his nature, there's the question. 'Tis a bright day that brings forth the adder, and that craves weary walking. Crown him? That? Then I grant we put a sting in him, that at his will he may do danger with. What ho, Lucius?
So please you, sir, searching the window for a flint, I found this paper thus sealed up, and I'm sure it did not lie there when I went to bed.
Get you to bed again, it is not day. Oh, is not tomorrow, girl, the Ides of March?
I know not, sir.
Look in the calendar and bring me
I
word.
will, sir.
The exhalations whizzing in the air give so much light that I may read by them. Brutus, thou sleepest. Awake and see thyself. Shall Rome, etc., etc., speak, strike, redress. Brutus, thou sleepest. Awake. Such instigations have been often dropped where I have took them up. Shall Rome, etc., etc. Thus must I piece it out. Shall Rome stand under one man's oar? What? Rome? My ancestors from the streets of Rome, the Tarquin Drive, when he was called a king. Speak, strike, redress. Am I entreated to speak and strike? O Rome, I make thee promise, if the redress will follow, thou receivest thy full partition at the hands of Brutus.
So a march has wasted 14 days.
'Tis good. Go to the gate, somebody knocks. Since Cassius first did wet me against Caesar, I have not slept. What between the acting of a dreadful thing and the first motion, all the interim is like a phantasma or a hideous dream.
So 'tis your brother Cassius at the door who doth desire to see you.
Is he alone?
No, sir, there are more with him.
Do you know them?
No, sir, their hats are plucked about the ears and half their faces buried in cloaks.
Let him enter. They are the faction. Oh, conspiracy. Shamest thou to show thy dangerous brow by night when evils are most free? Or then by day, where wilt thou find a cavern dark enough to mask thy monstrous visage? Seek none conspiracy.
Good morrow, Brutus. Do we trouble you?
No, I've been up the sour awake all night. Know why these men have come along with you?
Yes, every one of them. And no man here but loves you. And everyone doth wish you had that opinion of yourself which every noble Roman bears of you. This is Trebonius, Decius Brutus.
Welcome hither. He's welcome
Casca,
too.
Cinna, and Metellus Cimber.
They are all welcome. What watchful cares do interpose themselves betwixt your eyes and night?
Shall I entreat a word?
Here lies the east. Doth not the day break here?
No.
Oh, pardon, sir, it doth. And yon grey lines they fret the clouds, and messengers of the day.
Give me your hands all over, one by one.
Let us swear a resolution.
No, not an oath. If not the face of men, the sufferance of our souls, the time's abuse. If these be motives weak, then break off betimes and every man hence to his idle bed. So let high-sighted tyranny range on, till each man drop by lottery.
Shall no man else be touched but only Caesar?
Decius, well urged. I think it is not meet that Mark Antony, so well beloved of Caesar, shall outlive Caesar. We shall find of him a shrewd contriver, and you know his means, if he improve them, may well stretch to fire as to annoy us all. Which to prevent it, Antony and Caesar fall together.
Our course will seem too bloody, Caius Cassius. To cut the head off and then hack the limbs like wrath and death and envy afterwards? For Antony is but a limb of Caesar. Let us be sacrifices, but not butchers. We all stand up against the spirit of Caesar, and in the spirit of men there is no blood. Oh, that we then could come by Caesar's spirit and not dismember Caesar. But alas, he must bleed for it. Gentle friends, let's kill him boldly, but not wrathfully. Let's carve him as a dish fit for gods, not hew him as a carcass fit for hounds. And let our hearts, as subtle masters do, stir up their servants to an act of rage and after seem to chide them. This will make our purpose necessary, but not envious, which so appearing to the common eyes, we shall be called purgers, not murderers. And as for Antony, think not of him. He can do no more than Caesar's arm when Caesar's head is off.
There is no fear in him. Let him not die, for he will live and laugh at this hereafter.
Peace, count the clock.
The clock has stricken 3.
'Tis time to part.
But it is doubtful yet whether Caesar will come forth today or no. For he is superstitious grown of late, quite apart from the main opinion he held once of fantasies, of dreams and ceremonies. It may be these apparent prodigies, the unaccustomed terror of this night, and the persuasion of his augurs may hold him from the capital today.
Never fear that. If he could be so resolved, I will sway him. Let me work, for I can give his humour the true bid, and I will bring him to the capital.
Nay, we will all of us be there to fetch him.
By the 8th hour, is that the uttermost?
Be that the uttermost, and fail not then.
The morning comes upon us. We'll leave you, Brutus. And friends, disperse yourselves, but all remember what you have said, and show yourselves true Romans.
And good friends, look fresh and merrily. Let not our looks put on our purposes, but bear it as our Roman actors do, with untired strength and spirit. And so good morrow to you, everyone.
Nor heaven nor earth have been at peace tonight. Thrice hath Calpurnia in her sleep cried out, "Help, ho, they murder Caesar." Who's within?
My lord?
Go bid the priests do present sacrifice and bring me their opinions of success.
I will, my lord.
What mean you, Caesar? Think you to walk forth? You shall not stir out of your house today.
Well, Caesar shall forth. The things that threaten me ne'er look but on my back. when they shall see the face of Caesar, they are vanished.
Caesar, I have never stood on ceremony, yet now they fright me. There's one within. Besides the things that we have heard and seen, recounts the most horrid signs seen by the watch. A lioness hath whelped in the streets. Graves have yawned and yielded up their dead. Fierce fiery warriors fought upon the clouds, and ranks and squadrons in right form of war, which has drizzled blood upon the capital. The noise of the battle hurled in the air. Horses did neigh, and dying men did groan, and ghosts did shriek and squeal about the streets. Oh, Caesar, these things are beyond all use, and I do fear them.
What can be avoided whose end is purposed by the mighty gods? Yet Caesar shall forth. For these warnings are to the company in general, as to Caesar.
When beggars die, there are no comets seen. The heavens themselves blaze forth the death of princes.
Cowards die many times before their death. The valiant never taste of death but once. Of all the wonders that I yet have heard, it seems to me most strange that men should fear, seeing that death, a necessary end, will come when it will come. What say the augurers?
They would not have you to stir forth today. Plucking the entrails off and offering forth, they could not find a heart within the beast.
Oh, the gods do this in shame of cowardice. Caesar should be a beast without a heart if he should stay at home today for fear. No, Caesar shall not. Danger knows full well that Caesar is more dangerous than he. We are two lions littered in one day, and I the elder and more terrible. So Caesar shall go forth.
Alas, my lord, your wisdom is consumed in confidence. Do not go forth today. Call it my fear that keeps you in the house, and not your own. We'll send Mark Antony to the Senate house, and he shall say you are not well today. Let me, upon my knee, prevail in this.
Mark Antony shall say I am not well, and for your humour I will stay at home today. Here's Decius Brutus, he shall tell them so.
All hail Caesar. Good morrow, worthy Caesar. I have come to fetch you to the Senate house.
And you are come in very happy time to bear my greeting to the senators, and tell them I will not come today. Cannot is false, that I dare not, falser. Tell them I will not come today, Decius.
Say he is sick.
Have I in conquest stretched mine arm so far as to be afraid to tell greybeards the truth? No? Tell them I will not come, Decius.
Most mighty Caesar, let me know some cause, lest I be laughed at when I tell them so.
The cause is in my will. I will not come. That is enough to satisfy the Senate. But for your private satisfaction, and because I love you, I will let you know Calpurnia here, my wife, stays me at home. She dreamt tonight she saw my statua, which like a fountain with 100 spouts ran pure blood. And many lusty Romans came smiling and bathed their hands in it. And she takes these for warnings and portents and evils imminent. And on her knee hath begged that I will stay at home today.
This dream is all misinterpreted. It was a vision, fair and fortunate. Your statue, spouting blood in many pipes in which so many smiling Romans bathed, signifies that from you, great Rome shall suck reviving blood, and that great men shall press for tinctures, stains, relics, and cognizances. This by Calpurnia's dream is signified.
And this way have you well expounded it.
I have, when you've heard what I can say, and know it now. The Senate have concluded to give this day a crown to mighty Caesar. If you shall send them word you are not come, their minds may change. Besides, if it were a mock, apt to be rendered for someone to say, break up the Senate, till Caesar's wife shall meet with better dreams. If Caesar hides himself, shall they not whisper, lo, Caesar is afraid? Pardon me, Caesar, for my dear, dear love, to our proceeding bids me to tell you this, and the reason to my love is liable.
How foolish do your fears seem now, Calpurnia. I'm ashamed I did yield to them. Give me my robe, for I will go. And look where Metellus is come to fetch me.
Good morrow, Caesar.
Welcome, Metellus. And Brutus, are you stirred so early too?
Caesar will come today. Promise him the crown. If we just obey him, he'll come.
Casca, welcome. What o'clockist?
Good, thank you. I understand.
What hour is it?
It has struck an 8, Caesar.
Oh, I thank you for your care and courtesy. And see where Antony, that revels long and night, is notwithstanding here.
Good morrow, Caesar.
Good morrow, Antony. Bid them prepare within. I'm to blame to be thus waited for. Now, Cinna, what Metellus? Go in, go in. Trebonius, I have an hour's talk in store for you. Remember that you call on me today, and be near that I may remember you.
Caesar, I will. And so near will I be that your best friend shall wish I had been further.
Go in, good friends, and taste some wine with me, and we like friends will straightway go together.
That every like were not the same, O Caesar, the heart of Brutus yearns to think upon.
Caesar, beware of Brutus. Take heed of Cassius. Come not near Casca. Have an eye to Cinna. Trust not Trebonius. Decius Brutus, he loves thee not. Thou hast wronged Caius Legatus. There is but one mind to all these men, and it is bent against Caesar. If thou beest not immortal, look about you. Security gives way to conspiracy. The mighty gods defend thee. Thy lover, Artemidorus. Here will I stand, till Caesar pass along, and as a suitor will I give him this. My heart laments that virtue cannot live out of the teeth of emulation. If thou reachest Caesar, thou mayst live. If not, the face of the traitors do contrive.
Ha! The Ides of March are come.
Aye, Caesar, but not gone.
Hail, Caesar! Read the schedule. 'Tis the seat that touches Caesar nearer. Read it, great Caesar.
What touches us ourselves shall be last served.
Delay not, Caesar. Read it instantly.
What, is the man mad?
Urge your petitions in the street. Come to the Capitol.
What is now abyss that Caesar and his Senate must redress?
Most high, most mighty, and most puissant Caesar, Metellus
I must prevent thee, Cimber. Thy brother by decree was banished. If thou dost bend and pray and fawn for him, I spur me like a cur out of my way. No, Caesar doth not wrong, nor shall he without cause be satisfied.
Is there no voice more worthy than my own, to sound more sweetly in great Caesar's ear for the repealment of my banished brother?
I kiss thy hand, but not in flattery, Caesar, desiring thee that Publius Cimber may have immediate freedom of repeal.
What, Brutus?
As low to the foot doth Cassius fall to beg enfranchisement for Publius Cimber.
I could well be moved if I were as you. If prayers could move me, then I could be moved. But I am constant as the northern star, of whose true fixed and resting quality there is no equal in the firmament. That Cimber should be banished, I was constant, and constant to remain to
Speak
keep
hands for me!
It's too preface. Then fall, Caesar.
Liberty, freedom, tyranny is dead! Run hands, proclaim, cry about the streets!
Ambition's debt is paid!
Go to the pulpit, Brutus!
And Cassius too!
Where's Antony?
I was amazed. Men, wives, children stare, cry out, and run if it were doomsday.
Let us bathe our hands in Caesar's blood! Up to the elbows and besmear our swords, then walk we forth even to the marketplace, and waving our red weapons o'er our head, let's all cry, peace, freedom, and liberty!
Stoop then and wash. How many times shall this a lofty scene be acted over? Its states unborn and exit yet unknown.
How many times shall Caesar bleed on sport that now on Pompey's basis lies along no worthier than the dust?
So oft as that shall be, so often shall the not of us be called the men that gave their country liberty.
Soft too comes now, a friend of Antony's.
Thus, Brutus, my master bade me say, Brutus is noble, wise, valiant and honest. Caesar was mighty, bold, royal and loving. Say I love Brutus, and I honour him. Say I feared Caesar, honoured him, and loved him. If Brutus will vouchsafe that Antony may safely come to him, and it be resolved how Caesar hath deserved to lie in death, then Antony shall not love Caesar dead so well as Brutus living, but instead will follow the fortunes and affairs of noble Brutus. They are the hazards of the sun-trod state with all true faith. So says my master Antony.
He shall be satisfied, and by my honour, depart untouched.
I'll fetch him presently.
I know that we shall have him well to friend.
I like it not.
But here comes Antony. Welcome, Mark Antony.
O mighty Caesar, dost thou lie so low? Are all thy conquests, glories, triumphs, spoils shrunk to this little measure? Fare thee well. I know not, gentlemen, what you intend. Who else must be let blood? Who else is rank? If I myself, there is no hour so fit to Caesar's death hour, nor no instrument of half that worth as those your swords made rich with the most noble blood in all this world. I do beseech you, if you bear me hard now, whilst your purpled hands do reek and smoke, fulfill your pleasure. Live 1,000 years, I shall not find myself so up to die. No place of death will please you, so no mean of death is here by Caesar and by you cut off. The choice and master spirits of this age.
Oh, Antony, beg not your death of us, though now we must appear bloody and cruel, as by our hands, and this our present act you see we do. Yet see you but our hands, and this the bleeding business they have done. Our hearts you see not, they are pitiful. To you as swords have leaden points, Mark Antony. Our arms with strength of malice, and our hearts of brother's temper do receive you in with all kind love, good thoughts and reverence.
Your voice will be as strong as any man's in the disposing of new dignities.
Only be patient till we have appeased the multitude beside themselves with fear. Then we will deliver you the cause that why I, who did love Caesar when I struck him, have thus proceeded.
I doubt not of your wisdom. Let each man render me his bloody hand. First, Marcus Brutus, will I shake with you now. Caius Cassius, do I take your hand? Yours, Decius Brutus. Yours, Cinna. Take your hands, Metellus. My valiant Casca, yours. The last but not last in love, yours, good Trebonius. Gentlemen, alas, what shall I say? My credit now stand on such slippery ground that one of two bad ways he must conceit me, either a coward or a flatterer. That I did love thee, Caesar, 'tis true. If then thy spirit look upon us now, shall it not grieve thee dearer than thy death to see thy Antony making his peace, shaking the bloody fingers of his foes? Pardon me, Julius, here was thou bade, brave heart. Here didst thou fall, and here thy hunters stand, signed in thy spoil, and crimsoned in thy leave.
Mark Antony, I blame you not for praising Caesar, sir, but what compact mean you to have with us?
Friends, am I with you all, and love you all. So upon this hope you should give me reasons why and wherein Caesar was dangerous.
Or else were this a savage spectacle? Antony, our reasons are so full of good regard, that were you the son of Caesar, you should be satisfied.
Then, may I produce his body to the marketplace and as becomes a friend, speak in the order of his funeral?
You shall, Mark Antony.
Let not Antony speak in his funeral. Know you not how much the people may be swayed by that which we utter?
By your pardon, I will myself into the pulpit first, and show the reasons of our Caesar's death. What Antony shall speak, I will protest. He speaks by leave and by permission, and that we are contented. Caesar shall have all true rights and lawful ceremonies. It shall advantage more than do us wrong.
I like it not.
Mark Antony, here, take you Caesar's body. You shall not in your funeral speech blame us, but speak all good you can devise of Caesar, and say you do it by our permission, else shall you have no hand at all about his funeral. And you shall speak in the same pulpit whereto I am going after my speech is ended.
Be it so. I desire no more.
Prepare the body then, and follow us.
Oh, pardon me, thou bleeding piece of earth, that I am meek and gentle with these butchers. Thou art the ruins of the noblest man that ever lived in the tide of times. Woe to the hand that shed this costly blood! Over thy wounds now do I prophesy, which like dumb mouths do ope their ruby lips to beg the voice and utterance of my tongue. A curse shall light upon the limbs of men. Domestic fury and fierce civil strife shall cumber all the parts of Italy. Blood and destruction shall be so in use, and dreadful objects so familiar, that mothers shall but smile when they behold their infants courted with the hands of war, all pity choked with the custom of foul deeds. And Caesar's spirit, ranging for revenge, with Arte by his side, come hot from hell, shall in these confines with the monarch's voice cry havoc, and let slip the dogs of war, that this foul deed shall smell above the earth with carrion men groaning for burial.
Friends, give me audience, friends, and public reasons will be rendered of Caesar's death.
The noble Brutus is ascended. Silence!
Silence!
Be patient till the last. Romans, countrymen, and lovers, hear me for my cause, and be silent that you may hear. Believe me for mine honour, and have respect to mine honour that you will believe. Censure me in your wisdom, and awake your senses that you may the better judge. If there be any in this assembly, any dear friend of Caesar's, to him I say, Brutus's love of Caesar was no less than his. If then that friend demand, why Brutus rose against Caesar, this is my answer. Not that I loved Caesar less, but that I loved Rome more. Had you rather Caesar were living to die all slaves, than that Caesar were dead to live all free men? As Caesar loved me, I weep for him. As he was fortunate, I rejoice at it. As he was valiant, I honour him. But as he was ambitious, I slew him. There is tears for his love, joy for his fortune, honour for his valour, and death for his ambition. Who is here so bold would be a bondsman? If any, speak, for him have I offended. Who is here so rude that would not be a Roman? If any, speak, for him have I offended. Who is here so vile that would not love his country? If any, speak, for him have I offended. Then none have I offended. I have done no more to Brutus, to Caesar, than you shall do to Brutus. Here is his body, mourned by Mark Antony, who, though he had no part in his death, receives the benefit of his dying, a place in the commonwealth, as which of you shall not? With this I depart, that as I slew my best lover for the good of Rome, I have the same dagger here for myself, when it shall please my country to need my death.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them, the good is often interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, it were a grievous fault, and grievously hath Caesar answered it. Here under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honourable man. So are they all honourable men. Come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honourable man. He hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms to the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? When that the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. But Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honourable man. You all did see in the Lupercal I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and sure, he is an honourable man. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me, my heart lies in the coffin with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back to me.
Methinks there is much reason in the
Don't
sayings.
consider rightly of the matter. Caesar has had great
Has
loss.
he, masters? I fear there'll be worse to come in his
Mark
place.
his word, he was not ambitious.
If it be found so, some will dare abide it.
Soul, his eyes are red as fire with
Is
weeping.
not a nobler man in Rome than Antony.
Now mark him, he spins to speak.
But yesterday the word of Caesar might have stood against the world. Now lies he there, and none so poor to do him reverence. O masters, if I were disposed to stir your hearts and minds to mutiny and rage, I should do Brutus wrong, and Cassius wrong, who you all know are honourable men. I will not do them wrong. I rather choose to wrong the dead, to wrong myself and you, than I would wrong such honourable men. But here is a parchment with the seal of Caesar. I found it in his closet. 'Tis his will. Let but the commons hear it, which, pardon me, I do not mean to read, and they would go and kiss dead Caesar's wounds and dip their napkins in his sacred blood, yea, beg a hair of him for memory, and dying, mention it within their wills, bequeathing it as a rich legacy unto their issue.
We'll hear the will. Read it, Mark Antony.
Have patience, gentle friends. Have patience. I must not read it. It is not meet. You know how Caesar loved you. You're not wood, you're not stones, but men. And being men, bearing the will of Caesar, it will inflame you. It will make you mad, yea. 'Tis good you know not that you are his heirs. For if you did, or what would come of it?
Read the will, we'll hear Antony's will. Read us Caesar's will.
The will!
You will compel me then to read the will. Then form a ring around the corpse of Caesar, and I will show you him that made the will. Shall I descend, and will you give me leave?
Come down!
Stand around, make a ring.
Stand for the hearse, stand for the body.
Room for Antony, most noble Antony.
If you have tears, prepare to shed them now. You all do know this mantle. I remember the first time ever Caesar put it on. 'Twas on a summer's evening in his tent, that day he overcame the Novi. Look, in this place ran Cassius' dagger through. See what a rent the envious Casca made. Through this the well-beloved Brutus stabbed, and as he plucked his cursed steel away, mark how the blood of Caesar followed it. For Brutus, as you know, was Caesar's angel. Judge, O you gods, how dearly Caesar loved him. This was the most unkindest cut of all, for when the noble Caesar saw him stab, in gratitude, stronger than traitor's arms quite vanquished him, then burst his mighty heart. And with his mantle muffling up his face, even at the base of Pompey's statue, which all the while ran blood, great Caesar fell. Then I, and you, and all of us fell down, whilst bloody treason flourished over us. Oh, now you weep, and I perceive you feel the dint of pity. These are gracious drops. Kind souls, What weep when you but behold our Caesar's vesture wounded? Look, you here! Here is himself, marred, as you see, with traitors!
We'll burn the house of Brutus!
Good friends, sweet friends, let me not stir you to such a sudden flood of mutiny. Those that have done this deed are honourable. What private griefs they have, alas, I know not what made them do it. They are wise and honourable, and will no doubt with reasons answer you. I come not, friends, to steal away your hearts. I am no orator, as Brutus is, but as you know me all, a plain, blunt man that love his friend. And they know that they gave me public leave to speak of him. For I have neither wit nor worth, action nor utterance, nor the power of speech to stir men's blood. I only speak right on. I tell you what you yourselves do know. Show you sweet Caesar's wounds, poor dumb mouths, and bid them speak for me. But were I Brutus, and Brutus Antony, there were an Antony would ruffle up your spirits and put a tongue in every wound of Caesar that would shake the stones of Rome to rise and mutiny!
Mutiny! We'll burn the house of Brutus!
Stay, countrymen. You go to do you know not what. Why has Caesar thus deserved your love? You forgot the will I told you of.
Most true, the will!
Here's the will and under Caesar's seal. To every Roman he gives, to every several man, 75 drachmas.
Most noble Caesar, we'll revenge his
Hear me with patience.
Peace, ho!
Moreover, he hath left you all his walks, his private arbours, and new planted orchards beside Tiber. He hath left them you, and to your heirs forever, common pleasures to walk abroad and recreate yourselves. Here was a Caesar. When comes such another?
Never come! Away! We'll burn his body in the holy place with the brands, fire, the traitors' houses. Take up the body!
Fire the bitches!
Fuck on the falls, windows, anything!
Now let it work. Mischief, thou art afoot. Take thou what course thou wilt.